Imagine getting back from an amazing trip. You're unpacking your bags, and you realize you've brought something back with you. But it's not a keychain or a t-shirt, it's a living, burrowing souvenir. Today, we are getting up close and personal with a tiny parasite that has a huge and often very painful impact.
So, you see this little spot on your foot? At first, you kind of brush it off, but then it starts to itch. It swells up, and pretty soon it's just intensely painful. What in the world did you pick up on your travels?
Okay, take a look at this. This image shows a classic case. A traveler comes home from somewhere tropical with this lesion on their foot that just keeps getting bigger. And you see that distinctive dark spot right in the center? That's our clue. This isn't just a simple infection, it's an infestation.
All right, let's identify our culprit. The cause of that painful lesion is an insect, a type of sand flea that scientists call Tunga penetrans. Now, this is not your everyday flea you might find on a dog or cat. No, only the fertilized female does this. She literally burrows head first into your skin. And once she's in, her body swells up with eggs, sometimes to the size of a pea. And that's when the real trouble starts.
So to really understand what we're dealing with, we have to make a really key distinction. We're not talking about a single-celled protozoan, or a bacterium, or a virus. Tunga penetrans is a metazoan. That means it's a complex, multicellular animal. It has its own digestive system, its own reproductive system, the whole shebang. It's a tiny creature, not a microbe. And that distinction is crucial because you can't kill it with an antibiotic. You have to physically deal with the animal itself.
And here's where this flea gets even more unique. You know, most fleas are ectoparasites. They live on the outside of your skin. But the female Tunga penetrans, she becomes what we call a burrowing ectoparasite. She drills into the skin to feed on blood, but, and this is wild, she keeps her tail end exposed to the air. Why? So she can breathe and lay her eggs. She is literally living both inside and on her host at the exact same time.
You know, its names actually tell a story. The scientific name, Tunga penetrans, comes from the Tupi language in Brazil where it originated, plus the Latin word for penetrating. And all around the world, you'll hear it called the Jigger, or the Chigo flea, or bicho de pé, which means foot bug in Brazil. In East Africa, it's funza. You can almost trace its spread across the continents just by its nicknames.
So how does this flea make the jump from just being in the soil to being inside someone's foot? Well, understanding its life cycle is the absolute key to understanding both the disease and, more importantly, how to prevent it.
This diagram here from the CDC shows the entire process, and it's a cycle that moves from the environment to a host and then right back to the environment again. So let's just walk through it, step by step. Okay, so it all kicks off when a female, who's already embedded in a host, sheds hundreds of eggs out onto the ground, in warm, dry, sandy soil, their favorite. These eggs hatch into larvae, they become pupae, and then they emerge as adult fleas. They just sit there waiting for any warm-blooded host to walk by. And once a female gets fertilized, she starts her invasion, burrowing into the skin to start the entire cycle all over again.
And here's something really important to remember. Humans are not the only ones at risk, not by a long shot. This flea has a huge menu of hosts. Pigs, dogs, cats, even rats are major animal reservoirs. In a lot of communities, these animals live right alongside people, constantly shedding eggs, contaminating the soil, and that creates a massive challenge for controlling the spread of this thing.
Okay, so what happens to the person who's been invaded? The disease caused by Tunga penetrans is called tungiasis, and its progression can be absolutely debilitating. At first, you might not even feel the flea burrow in. It's pretty painless. But as she fills up with eggs and her body swells, the pressure creates this intense, maddening itch and a lot of pain. After she's released her eggs, the flea actually dies inside your skin, leaving this little ulcer behind. And that opening, that's a gateway for really dangerous secondary bacterial infections, like tetanus or even gangrene. Honestly, those infections are often the most severe part of the disease.
So how do we fight back? Well, diagnosing it is usually pretty straightforward. A doctor just needs to see that classic lesion and can identify the flea or its eggs. But treatment and prevention, that's where things get really interesting.
Yeah, the approach to treatment really tells a tale of two worlds. For a traveler who goes back home to a place like the Netherlands, the standard procedure is a sterile, surgical extraction to remove the entire flea, making sure it's all out. But in areas where this is really common, where people might have dozens of these lesions at once, a new global standard is starting to take over, applying a topical dimethicone solution. It's actually the same stuff used for head lice. It basically suffocates the flea, which makes removing it way less painful and much less invasive. It's a real game changer.
But ultimately, the best strategy is prevention, right? The most effective defense is so simple. Wear closed-toed shoes. Just avoid walking around barefoot, especially on that dry, sandy soil where these fleas love to hang out. And, of course, checking your feet regularly, and in communities, managing those animal populations is absolutely key to cutting down the number of fleas in the environment.
Now, while simple prevention is powerful, science is also looking for new ways to fight this neglected tropical disease on a much larger scale.
And the scientific community is really making some headway. Scientists are sequencing the flea's entire genome to try and find new weaknesses we can target with drugs. There are new PCR techniques that can now detect the flea larvae directly in soil samples, which helps map out high-risk areas. And researchers are even exploring using common vet medications for fleas and ticks to treat the animal reservoirs. A vaccine is still a long way off, but believe it or not, the research has actually begun. The Jigger flea is just a perfect example of how a tiny, tiny organism can cause such immense suffering, trapping people in this cycle of pain and poverty. But with new tools and a much better understanding of its biology, the big question now is, can we finally get the upper hand on this thing? We actually put this whole explainer together using a Gemini deep search. If you want a complete list of our sources and want to dive even deeper into the data, you can check out the linked Notebook LM document right in the description.
If you found this deep dive interesting, please hit that subscribe button for our channel. And let us know in the comments what complex topic you want us to break down next. Thanks so much for watching.